I've just been into this kind of stuff lately. Wee! What is up, guys? Welcome back. It is a favorites video. It's the end of April. We're now in Taurus season. I'm feeling a lot more grounded. But yeah, guys, I mean, if you're unfamiliar with my favorites in particular, there will be some makeup mentions, things that have really risen to the top as far as all the things that I have reviewed or been using this month. But also, it's my opportunity to share things with you that I don't get an opportunity to talk about in other videos, usually. Just like a nice way to collect all of my thoughts. A lot of it's gonna be fashion, but we have some miscellany this month too, so let's go ahead and jump in. Oh, I'm feeling so springy. This is another banger from Banana Republic, guys. It was on sale. I had a gift card. She's feeling cute. So anyway, hi! I cannot believe it's almost May. I'm pulling out my list here of all of my favorites so that I don't forget anything. I have no idea what order I'm going to talk about this in. Actually, let's go ahead and just start with makeup. Get the basics out of the way. I cannot believe that it has not been mentioned yet as a favorite, but this is the Rare Beauty Positive Light Tinted Moisturizer Broad Spectrum SPF 20 Sunscreen. It's a homosalate, titanium dioxide, zinc oxide, chemical and physical sunscreen mixeroo. And I actually was looking at the sunscreen ingredients on the Sunshine Skin Tint from Milk Makeup, and it is titanium dioxide, zinc oxide, homosalate, octisalate, and octocrylene. So it's an SPF 30, and this is an SPF 20. So this is technically a higher SPF, higher SPF. No one should be relying on their makeup as their main SPF anyway, but I just thought that these two things, it was kind of coincidental that Milk decided to send me PR this month, the same month that I tried this, because they are so similar. And for the price, for, I want to say the shade range, if memory serves, and the sunscreen, the performance, everything about it, they're so similar. And this is just a much better packaging situation and a much better price. $29, $42, even $32 to refill the cartridge. I have absolutely nothing against this formula, but I do think that the delivery system is flawed at best. And this is just so simplified. I'm wearing it right now. I can't stop using it. I have it in 14W. I have heard, even though I think that there are a lot of shades for a skin tint, that it's kind of a funky, hard to navigate shade range. They just sent me this in PR, and it happened to be like spot on for a shade match for me. And so I just got lucky, I guess. But the Rare Beauty skin tint is so utterly beautiful. I like it so much. It really is like all the other skin tints that I like a lot, except it has a little bit more buildability to it. I will continue to link my spreadsheet of all of my skin tints down below so that you guys can see kind of coverage levels and price per ounce and things like that. It's always kind of nice to see that breakdown, but as I'm reviewing more skin tints, I am still adding to that spreadsheet, so it's worth kind of, you know, bookmarking it. Ask Clippy to bookmark it for you. I was watching this video on Forhard, F-O-H-R. It's like an influencer, I don't know, it's like a resource. And James Nord is the owner, and he does these videos called Negroni with Nord. He was talking about how TikTok isn't a social media platform, it's an entertainment platform, and how like to organize your content for TikTok. And I'm like over here, I'm like, yeah, I'm making spreadsheets on YouTube. Okay, next. Yeah, man, I just like being able to give an option as far as my favorites are concerned that's not some big honkin' huge eyeshadow palette, but isn't also some precious $1 million quad from Tom Ford, which I am sorry, not sorry. I'm still not impressed with Tom Ford's quads. I'm not gonna go off. I don't get the magic, I'm not getting the magic, but this has magic. This is the Kaja Beauty Bento in O2 Orange Blossom. Is this new? Not by a mile. This has been around for years, but it just sort of caught my eye during the Sephora sale. I wanted to try it, and I'm just so glad that I did. It's so pretty. In fact, it might kind of be what this look needs. I was trying to keep it minimal. I was giving myself kind of Bridgerton vibes with this dress, and I wanted to chase that kind of like English rose kind of color, but I went a little bit sideways. This is Pat McGrath on my eyes, and it just steals the show. Even though Pat McGrath did, I'm pretty sure that Pat McGrath did the makeup for Bridgerton, right? Or at least they used, either way, I know that she has the Bridgerton collection and everything. I haven't tried it, but regardless, like, I'm not sure that I'm giving Bridgerton with the eyes. I went a little too hard, but either way, here are the shades in this. If you've never watched one of my favorites videos before, this is pretty typical. I kind of make myself stay on topic in a lot of my videos, and my favorites video, I just have less restraint. So those are the 3 shades. They don't really have names, but it's like a brown, a pink, and then this like crazy, oh my Lord in heaven. What did she say? We were just watching Abbott Elementary. She said, "Sweet baby Jesus and the grown one too." Either way, that was just such a good expression, but that's how I feel about this, is Sweet Baby Jesus and the grown-up version. Like, I love it. And also, something about the nails, something about these colors, something about this dress, like it's all in the same kind of energy right now. Ooh. I pulled this out. I ordered it from Banana Republic and I pulled it out, and audibly I went, oh, it's so bright. Like, I was so happy with how kind of like saturated this lavender is. Yeah, yep, I love color, I do. So yeah, those are gorgeous. They have all been really, really cool colors to focus an entire eye look around, and they have a lot of these. I have explored and kind of poked around the ones that they have online, and someone told me that there is one that I absolutely need. It's like rose water, rose something, I can't remember. They were out of stock on that one. It's apparently very popular, but they have ones that are entirely matte. They have some mixes of like matte and texture. I think that there is kind of something for everybody in these, and I just wanted to vouch for the formula because it is so nice. It's kind of like a matte, it's like halfway between a MAC eyeshadow and a Pat McGrath eyeshadow, in that it still picks up on a brush, it blends really nicely. It's not quite as like in your face as Pat McGrath, but it's a little bit more sparkly than like the Dazzle shadows that I have from MAC, which I do feel like exercise like this much restraint as far as the like reflective quality on them, just because they are easier to pick up with a brush kind of thing. So these, I do still recommend using fingers, but maybe that's just because I tend to use them as like an all over the lid focal point. I don't really like spend a ton of time blending them, but this brown, there's something very French girl energy about it where you get it on your eyes and it really looks effortless. It looks like, oh, this old thing, because it doesn't look like it's trying to be futuristic at all. You know, it's just this like very, very undeniably pretty color on the skin. But I kind of love that it's 3. In fact, I really love that it's 3. We tend to think very preciously about these little pots of like, you know, one and done, like, oh, it's this perfect texture. And like, sure, there are beautiful textures that can be worth that, but why have one when you can have 3? One of these will inevitably fit my mood on any given day. And I think it's like, what is it, like $22 or something? $26 for 3 of these. And then there's like, you know, you're talking about like an Hourglass shadow or a Charlotte Tilbury or something like that. Or even MAC is like $19 to $22 for 1 shadow. And this is $26 for 3. I like that very much. And the textures themselves are just breathtaking. That's it for makeup. I've loved a lot of makeup this month, but those are the 2 big standouts for me because I've been really trying to experiment with more of my stash lately. I haven't been like glomming onto things quite as much, at least not things that I haven't already mentioned before in like a favorites or something. So let's move on to slightly beauty adjacent things, like fragrance. This was one of my birthday gifts. I asked my husband for well, actually I asked him for a pool table and I knew he was gonna say no, even though we will get a pool table, it just wasn't gonna be my birthday present. Either way, I was in Brooklyn. I went to a store named Shen with Ingrid. She took me in there and we got to smell the Byredo stuff. I hadn't really come in contact with like more than one at a time in a long time. And yeah, this one stole both of our hearts. It's called Sundazed, and it's nothing like anything that I've ever smelled from Byredo. Byredo is very usually super complex. It's like they're trying to earn your money dollar for dollar versus how many notes there are. You know, they're just like, you're paying for this many notes. This is much simpler. It reminds me a little bit, for memory, of Ellis Brooklyn Sweet, but it's not quite as sugary. I think sweet is still really tasteful, but this isn't quite so sugary, but it does have that kind of like effervescent top note that I got from Joyful, from My Daughter fragrances and things like that. That's just very bright. It's just a bright smell. Ugh. I would say that it is like jasmine. Like it's almost entirely just like sweet, gorgeous, sunny jasmine. I'm wearing milk right now, but it needs brightness. It's like, you know what it's like? It's like the Dior blush, but as a fragrance. The way that it wakes everything up. Let me actually look online and see what the notes are of Sun-Dazed, because I am not as fluent in these things as some of my friends are. To be seduced by the sun in a state of summer bliss, to bask in the freedom of solar worship, a place where time stands still, a mythical undoing of body and mind in a midsummer's daydream. I hope I'm kind of sounding like Moira Rose. The state of total immersion, an addictive experience for sun chasers everywhere. In a psychosomatic journey of free love, Sun-Dazed catapults through sunny top notes of mandarin and California lemon to a bold heart of neroli and Arabian jasmine. Like cotton candy, a cascade of white musk injects this citrus scent with the endorphin rush of sugar on the skin. It does have that sugary note. Nostalgia and escapism entwined to channel the warmth of an endless summer. So yeah, it says the actual notes are, the top is lemon and mandarin. I love citrus. The heart is neroli and jasmine sambac, which I can never really smell neroli. I have some kind of strange block in my brain where like a neroli candle smells like nothing to me, so okay. And jasmine, it's coming through like big, bright, loud, gorgeous jasmine. I love jasmine. It's just the most sweet, innocent, lovely smell to me. And the base is musks. Yeah, there's like a touch of that. And what it does is it just kind of anchors it, but I don't feel like you get much musk. It feels very just like heady and bubbly and like outdoor, you know, drinking champagne on the patio. There's something really, really fantastic about it. So yeah, I was super excited and I remembered loving it. And then when I opened it, like when my husband gave it to me for my birthday, first of all, Byredo's gift packaging is off the charts gorgeous. Like my eyeshadows came in it and then this came in it, and it's like, it's really, really cool. It's not like really stuffy. It's got all these patterns all over it. It's awesome. Either way, I opened this up and I smelled it and I was like, it's even better than I remember. It's just really, really nice. And I love that I can kind of spray with reckless abandon. And you know, it's not going to be something that like haunts me for the next like 10 hours or something. It's just a really nice, light part of my whole mystique that day. You know, it doesn't enter the room before me. So yeah. Yes. My husband smelled it and he goes, oh, lemons on the Amalfi Coast. And I was like, yes, husband. Yes. So that's Sun-Dazed. Here's another smell that just entered my life. Yes. When Ingrid came to visit, you guys saw the video that we filmed together, she brought me all of the candles that I did not have from her company, the New Savant. She brought me a big boy of my favorite, the Usual, which smells like cocoa and coffee. It's amazing. And she brought me the new ones. There's one that's yet unreleased that I cannot wait to talk about because it's so clever. Oh, it's so clever, but it doesn't come out until summer. Either way, this is the spring release and this is called Cloud Gazer. Guys, okay. Lavender sprigs, Earl Grey tea, misted freesia, steamed vanilla, and warm tonka. It's like gourmand, but in this sophisticated, airy way. It doesn't immediately make you think of food. It's actually mostly like creamy lavender and not like cupcake creamy, like true steamed cream. And when you light it, the throw on these is wild. You could light this outside and still smell it. Like I put it in my kitchen and it pleasantly fragrances the whole downstairs, and not in some kind of like headachy way. It's just, you know what I mean? It holds its weight, I guess you could say. And what I like about this is when I think about a lavender fragrance, this was something that Ingrid very much addressed. It's like you have certain associations with certain notes. Sometimes they're positive, negative, what have you, but you just haven't smelled it in every possible combination or every possible preparation. And I do have those things in my brain about the smells that, you know, I like or don't like. And I usually like lavender, but I have it very much tied to bathroom. You know what I mean? People just think of it as soapy, soapy, soapy. They don't want it in their food necessarily. It's kind of on Food Network. They're always like, oh, she's putting lavender in it, or she's putting rose water in it. It's like, you better be careful with it because it can taste like grandma's soap. Like, that's the thing that they always say. And I personally don't mind that smell, but this isn't that. This doesn't have that kind of chemical herbaceousness, you know, that almost has a little bit of like an alcohol smell to it. There's none of that. It's so round and balanced. It's truly just like creamy lavender. The Earl Grey, I think, is what balances it out because it adds this kind of like floral, but like a savory note. You know, I don't know how to talk about this stuff in like the what do you call it, like a perfumier's language, but that's what I'm getting from it. And it's really, really nice. You can see we've made a little bit of a dent in it since she's been here. They burn pretty slowly, and also I've been working my way through like other ones too, but I really, really like this for spring. I think that this is lovely. So yeah, this is called Cloud Gazer. Okay, I have a couple of jewelry things to talk about. So you guys know the beginning of the month, April 4th, was your girl's birthday. In the mail, I received something very cool. This is from my friend Ingrid, and they are from a brand called Bombonitas, and they are so cute. I was like, are they friendship bracelets? Do I give one of them to you? She's like, no, I'm gonna get my own. And I was like, okay. So they really look like something that you would make at summer camp, right? Except, you know, they've got the nice little like drawstring tie right here, so it's they're a lot more durable than something that I would have made myself. But then you start to look a little bit closer and you realize that all of these beads that are in these, you know, very familiar shapes, right? I don't know, is this just me and my family, but we called the ones that are shaped like this Benuni beads? Is that a thing? I might Google that. But I don't even know how to spell that. But either way, I was like, oh, this is really cute. These are really sweet. And it's got this like heft to it where you're like, what is this made out of? They're all made out of like real crystals, basically, that they've used. They're not plastic. They're not even, I mean, some of them I guess are probably glass, but most of them are like, you know, actual jade and rose quartz and like citrine and things like that. I love just kind of like a little tongue-in-cheek like that, where you're like, wait a second, you just took something that is so kind of like nostalgic in a way that I wouldn't have necessarily been able to think up on my own. It's having a conversation with the other bracelet that I'm about to talk about. I'm gonna take it off. With this little like wink of luxury, right? And I just love the way that they look. They look like candy, and you guys know I'm really into color. I think it's really cool to have something that's a little bit nostalgic and whimsical like this, and style it with something that is a little bit stuffy. Like, you know, any of my kind of like brunchy button downs where I look like Ina Garden, I love to just layer on like slightly whimsical jewelry like this and make it my own. It's like leave something undone. For me, it's like leave something weird. I always like to have a little bit of weird in my outfit, weird in a good way. And there's just something really, really understated and just totally perfect about them. They're just exciting and they bring a lot of joy to my heart. And I love that it was a gift from a friend, you know? It's like something that when I put it on, I think of Ingrid. And it also kind of represents Ingrid to me because she just has a certain whimsy about her. We both say that we are untethered cats because we don't have any earth placements in our top 3 or really in much of our charts at all. And so we are just like airy, fiery, watery, warm water vapor, you know, but we also like to relax. So this just makes me think all of those happy, happy things when I wear them. So thank you, Ingrid. I love them. Okay, the other bracelet that was having a little bit of conversation on my wrist there because you can see why. So you guys are probably familiar with Carla Rockmore. She is an over 50, I think she says she's 54, influencer on Instagram who basically does these very high energy, excited, like getting dressed kind of videos where she's just composing her outfits and generally having a fit over all of her different items, and they are all fit worthy. Like, she pulled this dress out. She's like, I got this in a secondhand store in Amsterdam for 60 euros. And she's like, you know who else liked it? Alessandro. And like, you see Alessandro Michele has put out for Gucci, like a really similar dress. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, Carla Rockmore, you are the luckiest person alive to have found that dress. And she just has very similar taste to me, the way that she likes to be kind of artsy and loud and sort of mix and match and make an outfit her own. And at one point she was just like rushing through putting this outfit together and it wasn't coming together for me. I was like, okay, I don't know if I would put two solids together. I'm just not like a put two solids together kind of person. But then she started layering things on and she goes, Kenneth J. Lane jewelry, Kenneth J. Lane bracelets. And she pulls these bracelets out of this box. And I like watched the video like 100 times until I could like screenshot it. And she had one of a dragon and one of a snake, I want to say. And I went online and I mean, she inspired me basically, she influenced me. But I went online and I was looking at Kenneth J. Lane stuff. And yes, it is neat, but A, it's a little expensive. And B, I just liked this one better. I found it on Etsy in its original packaging and it is a vintage KJL bracelet. So I decided to just get one. I was tempted to get two and just be just like her, but I invested in this because I was like, this is such an iconic piece. Another thing that you kind of throw on for whimsy with something that's a little bit on the stuffy side, and it just really sets the outfit off. And it's a conversation piece. Is it not just so neat? And it's in perfect condition. I'll link the Etsy store that I got this from because I'm sure she collects a lot of really lovely things. It came really quickly. It's in gorgeous, gorgeous shape and I love it so much. I love it so much. My kid likes it too, although he wants to understand how this works because he's a tiny engineer and so he's constantly trying to steal it from me so that he can like see how the spring works. But I love this. And this is just me in a nutshell. I love investing in like an iconic piece. Honestly, 35 is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Because 35, I'm finally like, oh, I am in my statement jewelry phase. You know, like I've reached the part of my fashion life where I feel like I can finally express myself in the way that I've always wanted to. And it's just been a cultivation of my own instincts. It's not so much like I couldn't have done this in my 20s. It's more about the fact that like, I'm not sure a 20-year-old would look the way that I look in the things that I have now, kind of thing. It would have been a little bit strange for the 20-year-old that was me to dress like I do now. But this is like how I've always seen myself in my mind's eye. I guess I've been 35 my entire life. I'm just so excited. And Carla Rockmore, if there's one thing I would accuse her of, it's that I don't think she's really that old, okay? I know that she actually is. She wouldn't lie about her age, but like, I'm like, you look too good, ma'am. And that would be a very, very clever thing to do, would be to lie about your age in the wrong direction by like 20 years. Cause like she really looks like she's like my age or maybe like 40 or something. She looks incredible. And she's putting out an Amazon The Drop line. So that's pretty cool too. Anyway, thank you to Carla Rockmore for influencing me and for putting out really great content. I love this very much. Fashion! I do want to introduce you to maybe my favorite Lily headband that I've gotten so far. Lily Saduge has put out a line now with Atlantic Pacific, Blair, EDB from Atlantic Pacific, and I am in the process of choosing which one I'm going to throw way too much money at. But in the meantime, I got this one on sale at Revolve, and I think it's sold out now, but I posted it a ton on my stories as they were lowering the price. I paid $120 for this. They knocked it down to $90, and I just kept being like, guys, I cannot recommend a Lily headband enough to just top off an outfit. Does it match this? No. There's no like, you know, carnelian red in carnelian? That's not what I meant to say. It is carnelian. Oh, it is kind of that color. Bright orangey red is cadmium red. Purpley red is quinacridone. And this is quite carnelian, if you ask me. So, I love this one. It is giving me this like perfect amount of complexity. I'm gonna take it off so it doesn't make my hair all flat. It's just like a tapestry sort of thing, but then it's also got everything hand beaded. There's a reason these things are so pricey. They are really well made, and then all of this stuff is basically sewn on by hand. And this just goes with so many things. Most of my wardrobe is blue. I have tried to diversify with a lot more color lately, but I do tend to lean pretty heavily on blue and white. And this just pops off anything. I now have a white one with crystals. I have this one. I have the kind of Christmassy plaid one, and then I have the leopard print one. As these are so expensive, I do try to invest in ones that are gonna go with a lot of things. Either that or like go with nothing. You know what I mean? Like they have to just completely power clash with everything you put them with. And there's something to be said for that too. Like I saw this and I was like, it's this particular shade of that coral red that is gonna go with everything, because I don't wear red real well, but I can wear this color red really well, and I just love it. I love it. I've worn it in like 3 videos in the last month. I wore it to brunch last weekend. It is truly like, when you're talking about a favorites and a thing that I've gotten excited to interact with, it's this. And I'm really sorry that like, I think it sold out like yesterday. You know, like I went to look online for it and it wasn't there anymore, but I can't say enough about the Lily headbands anyway. And she does a lot of collabs. There's one with Stony Clover Lane. There's one, like I said, with Atlantic Pacific, stuff like that, that, you know, they do a lot of really cool colorways, and they do tend to go on sale. Just wanted to talk about her. I have picked up a couple of things this month. One of them is something that, I mean, I talk about these when I wear them, right? But one of them is a Farm Rio dress that I got from Saks on pre-order. It was $190, which I think is a very good price for this. It is so gorgeously detailed. It has this lovely collar. It's done in this really beautiful, kind of durable lace, and it makes me feel like a goddess when I wear it. That's kind of my vibe lately, is I just sort of want to feel like a goddess or a princess goddess. That's my thing. I've just been really into dresses lately, and so I picked this one up from Farm Rio, and I love it. Cannot endorse highly enough. It is so pretty, and it's very easy to wear because you can cinch it at the waist with a belt or something like that, but yeah, I thought I was gonna want to, but I actually really like the shirt dress shape of it. It's just a really nice, like, bright, springy look for me. And then the deal of all deals, and also the risky thing of all risky things, I had been obsessed with this dress from a brand called Alame that I'm still obsessed with. This brand. I am tempted every single time I like log on the internet, on the World Wide Web, the information superhighway. Every time I get online, surely some purveyor of fashion goods shows me an ad for something from Alame, and they are just gorgeous. It's like someone took cottagecore and elevated it to just the most, it's like Zimmerman meets Love Shack Fancy, but the silhouettes are just so dialed in. Like they're nailed. They're so good. Like they're just, the details are there. And the dress that I got is in this material. I'll put the name of the material on the screen because I can't remember what it's called, but it's this funky material that it kind of holds its structure and it breathes really well. So it's actually not like hot and cloying. So I got this dress, and it's like a $700 dress, but I found it on eBay, and it was, I think with shipping and everything, like $240, but the price of it was like $200, I want to say $200, something like that, versus $700 and something for this dress. And it is so pretty. It makes me feel so amazingly regal. Yeah, I definitely have like 2 wolves, right? There's the wolf that's like, oh, you want to go live on Cape Cod and dress like a Kennedy, you know? And then there's this other side of me that's like, you were jilted from being born royal. Like, and then somehow they both collide in the middle, and they're like, you're an artist. And that's my style in a nutshell. I really love putting one thing on and then letting it inspire another thing, and then letting that inspire another thing, and kind of building a look. And that's what I fall asleep thinking about at night. That dress is a look in itself. I was this much afraid that it was going to be too much when I put it on, but there's something so modern and, again, kind of whimsical about that print that just takes it like just slightly off center. You know, it's not cosplay, because I don't want to look like I'm in a costume. I was like, okay, I hear you. Someone at Fashion Week would probably say that dress is a look in itself, don't let it wear you, kind of thing. Don't over accessorize. And I was like, hi, I see your do not over accessorize and I raise you a Lily Sajugi crystal encrusted headband. I don't care. Yeah, that was the look that I had in one of my videos recently, and I took some pictures of myself outside in front of one of our trees that has pretty purple flowers on it. And it just sent me, okay? And people are like, well, I really hope that you're going somewhere in these outfits. They're so pretty. And I'm like, I am hanging out in my house in them and occasionally going to Baskin Robbins. I have just really enjoyed getting dressed recently, and I've really, like I said, enjoyed kind of growing into this I really don't care if you like it, it's more about me and how I feel in it kind of style. You know what I mean? It's only for me. And my husband really likes it too. There's something to be said for that. But also, my friend was telling me, she's like, you know, I was just trying to explain to my boyfriend how like you used to be, you know, 12, 13 years ago, like such a tomboy. I used to wear my hair really short and you wouldn't have caught me dead in a dress. And now it's like all I wear are dresses, and it's because I had a baby and my body changed. And like the stuff probably wouldn't be that noticeable to a lot of other people, kind of like the differences in my body, but I feel a little more feminine now because like my hips spread and I got a little bit more of a waist, and just ever so slightly, but things that used to fit one way don't fit the same way anymore and aren't as comfortable to wear. Like a lot of cuts of denim and things like that are just not as comfortable to wear as they once were. And putting on a dress, it just feels so good. It feels really, really good. So I've just been into this kind of stuff lately. Personal style is so much fun. It's like my favorite thing. I have one random one-off and then we will get into my media favorites. So I bought a quilt. I had a quilt that I had bought for our old bedroom, and then for the guest room, I went with the same brand. It was the Justina Blakeney who does the Jungalow, which is a phenomenal store online for like bohemian, hand-picked and curated, and honestly, I think she makes a lot of her own stuff now too, housewares. And I have her book called The New Bohemians, I think it's called, a handbook, you know, for decorating and things like that. She has lots of books that have come out since then. She did a thing for Target. She has cooperations with a lot of different, like Wayfair, a lot of different brands now, because she just has an aesthetic, and I really, really like her aesthetic. However, the quality, like they are fairly low priced for housewares, and the quality is just not always there. Our original quilt, amazing. But for some reason, the one that I got that has hamsas all over it, these beautiful embroidered, you know, Buddha hands all over it, and these really pretty kind of evil eyes, so gorgeous, but like the most fragile quilt I've ever had. And like between a dog, a kid, and 2 cats, and a husband, and I mean humans, you know what I mean? Like we're not that careful. The thing was ripping within weeks, within days really, of putting it on the bed, and I was really, really distraught about it at first, and then I was just like, oh God, whatever. Screw it, you know, in a couple of years I'll replace it, whatever. Well, the time has come. And I found this website called cqc.la, and they just do all of these quilts that I think are pretty affordable for what they are. So we got the Ascension quilt. What's cool about these is a lot of them are different on each side, so you kind of get 2 quilts. We had just like a beige quilt, and I was like, we need something really, really neutral. That was what was so hard for me, is I was like, I don't want to completely have to change the room because we bought a quilt that has too much design on it, kind of thing. But this one is, oddly enough, like really unifying for the room. It pulls color from places that I didn't realize could be pulled. Like all of our hardware on our bed and on our dresser set and everything is black. And so I had done the curtain rods and the finials in black as well, like kind of a matte black, and this has black in it that actually like pulls from that in a really nice way, but it's also got this beautiful kind of like sun in the middle of it, and it's so plushy. It's so much more like a comforter than our last quilt that I've woken up like the first couple nights that we had, I was like, I slept better. I'm sure it'll shrink a little bit when we do finally wash it, unless we like dry clean it, but the thing that I found with the Justina Blakeney one was not just that it tore up really easily, but also that it was small. Like there was something about it that didn't feel abundant, and this feels really abundant. It doesn't come with shams, and I don't even think that they make shams, which is interesting. So we've just been using like regular, you know, white shams, but the quilt itself is so beautiful, it's so high quality, and it is so large. Like there's something really phenomenal about a very large comforter when you're sharing your bed with a a man who sleeps very strangely, and a dog that also likes to cuddle into your body and like curl up in the quilt and things like that. We all have extenuating circumstances. I happen to sleep like a sarcophagus, like this, but this was $315 for a king size, $299 for a queen size. For a handmade quilt, that's pretty darn good. And it says the process, each quilt is handmade, requiring attention from 4 different types of artisans, including wood carvers, block printers, quilt makers, and dye specialists. The design is hand pressed onto each quilt using hand carved wooden blocks dipped in dyes. The printed cotton shells are then brought to the homes of quilt makers who stuff and stitch the quilts by hand, creating the final product. Our quilts are made in small batches. Due to the handcrafted nature of this item, expect slight variation in the appearance of each unique piece. It says, as part of our One Quilt, One Child, One Life initiative, every quilt sold feeds a child in India for a month. That's awesome. So I picked one out and we love it. I haven't even used the other side yet, but it's got like moon phases on it. It is so neat. It's like modern, but boho at the same time. I just enjoy it very, very much. I really only have one favorite, and the other one is just a mention. I want to say, as a mention, that the new season of Bridgerton is good. It's better than the first one. I like it a lot. That's really all I want to say about it. Like, we're really enjoying it. We're just not done with it yet. I don't know how it's gonna go. Don't ruin it for me. But I like it so much more than the first season. The first season, okay, I mean, I like to think of myself as a very healed human. I've done a lot of work on myself, but it's very, very hard to unpack the puritanical upbringing that growing up in mainstream church can do to you. And man, that first season, I was like, I was like clutching my pearls the whole time. Okay, we get it, you know? But this season it's just so much more character development than that. And I like it a lot. I like the characters a lot. It's very, very good. That's all I'm gonna say about that. The show that we absolutely loved and just zoomed through the season, I don't think that there are 2 seasons yet, is Abbott Elementary. You know, some shows you watch the pilot and it takes like 5 or 6 episodes for the show to even like really get its feet under it. I would say this one takes like 2 episodes, and then suddenly you're like, okay, I'm starting to understand who's who. Because everything's clunky right in the beginning because they're doing so much exposition. Like the conversation can be kind of clunky because you're trying to learn about each character. But the quickness, the little things that you'll miss if you don't, like, that's my favorite kind of show. The one where as you rewatch it, you catch something new every single time. It's about an elementary school called Abbott Elementary, but it's done in that mockumentary style like The Office. And so there's a lot of, you know, face-to-face, one-on-one interviews where they're kind of talking about what's going on, and it takes place in inner city Philadelphia. So it's like an entirely Black school as far as the students are concerned, and talking about being underfunded and also being a teacher, which in and of itself is most of the time being underfunded, and the hierarchy of the different teachers as far as their experience is concerned, the different challenges that the students present, and then also the, you know, interconnectedness of the actual teachers. And it's just great. The principal, her name is Ava, is my favorite. She is the funniest. She's awful, like she's awful, but like that's always my favorite character. I love Jacqueline in Kimmy Schmidt. I think that's a pretty good example. Or like, you know, Jenna Maroney, she pretty much always plays the same character. I'm sorry, I happen to also really like Jane Krakowski. I've loved her ever since Ally McBeal. That is neither here nor there. Either way, she is very much that personality where she's like, I'm the star of the show. She does a lot of power poses, and there's this one part, I need to gif it, where she says, there you go, sounded like a locomotive again, and then she goes straight to camera, tosses her hair, and then leaves the screen. Oh my God, I don't know, it's so funny. She's so funny to me. Like at one point you meet, I don't even want to ruin it, it's so funny. I don't know if I can actually like do justice to this, but one white teacher, you meet his boyfriend, and when he comes on screen, she goes, black, and he goes, it's pronounced Zach. I like had to pause the show to laugh at that. It's just too quick. She's so funny. Anyway, yeah. Again, an Ingrid recommendation. I told her almost as an assignment, I was like, you have to watch What We Do in the Shadows because it is so original and funny. And then hers was, you know, I think that you'll enjoy Abbott Elementary. I think it's lovely. I cannot wait to see what they do with it because I do feel like it's still in such a like an area of potential. I'm just like, oh, give me the next season. I need to see it. I need to see what happens to these people because they're all so endearing in their own ways. So yeah, if you have watched it, let me know. I did actually finish the season. Let's not put any like spoilers other than what I already said in the comments, but like let me know what your favorite parts are and any other stuff that you recommend. But yeah, guys, those are my favorites for April. I hope that this was fun for you guys. It's always fun for me to just kind of blah about everything that's been inspiring me lately. So if you liked it, do be kind and give it a thumbs up. I would love that. And if you would like to keep hanging out with me on this channel, hit the button down below and subscribe. I would love it if you guys did. Thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me today. I love you guys so much. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.